Labial bows. They are the most commonly used component of a removable orthodontic appliance. It forms the active component of a removable appliance. It is used for overjet reduction and for space closure in the anterior segment. It is also used for closure of space distal to canines. Parts of labial bows are incisor segment, vertical loop, crossover section, and retentive arm. This is the incisor segment. It is usually in the junction of middle third and incisal third. A right angle bend at the distal third of a lateral incisor or mesial third of canine. It contacts only the most prominent teeth. For example, in an upper labial bow, incisor segment contacts the upper central incisor and upper canine, as the upper lateral incisor is situated a bit palatally. Whereas in a lower labial bow, incisor segment contacts all the anterior teeth. This is the vertical loop of a labial bow. It consists of a parallel vertical leg joined by a smooth curve. It is usually 9 to 12 mm, extending 2 to 3 mm above the gingival margin to avoid gingival trauma. At the gingival level, the loop is 1 to 1.5 mm away from the tissues. This is the crossover section of the labial bow. Here, the wire crosses from the labial side of the tooth to the palatal side of the tooth. What are the uses of a labial bow? It is used to move teeth lingually once it is activated. It also has a restraining action on lip. It is used to support the soldered springs, bar loops, or for hooks to attach elastic bands. The friction of the labial wire against the anterior teeth acts as a clasp to enhance the fit of the plate. There are different types of labial bows. You have short labial bow, long labial bow, split labial bow, reverse labial bow, Mills labial bow, high labial bow with apron strings, and then your fitted labial bow. We'll be covering each of this labial bow in the coming slides. Short labial bow. It is constructed using 0.7 mm stainless steel wire. Its retentive arm lies distal to the canine. It is stiff and it exhibits low flexibility. Design of a short labial bow. It is constructed from canine to canine region in both upper and lower arches. It consists of a bow, 2 U-loop, 2 retentive arms, and 2 retentive tag. Coming to bow, it contacts the most prominent labial surface of the anterior teeth. Bow should be exactly in the center of the crown on the labial surface of anterior teeth. There should not be any bends in the bow. There are 2 U-shaped loops, one on the right canine, one on the left canine. The distal leg of the U-loop passes interdentally between canine and first premolar to end lingually as a retentive arm. Now, a short labial bow has 2 retentive arms, mesial and distal. The retentive arm should follow the anatomy of a palate and lingual mandibular area in the respective jaws. A clearance of 0.5 mm between the tissue surface and the retentive arm is needed for actalization. The indications are, it is used for minor overjet reduction, and it is used for space closure in the anterior segment. It is also used for the purpose of retention at the termination of active orthodontic therapy. It is activated by compressing the U-loop by 1 to 2 mm. Coming to long labial bow. Long labial bow is a modification of a short labial bow. In long labial bow, the bow extends from left first premolar to right first premolar. The indications are, it is used for minor anterior space closure, it is used for minor overjet reduction, it is used for closure of space distal to canine since the bow is extending from premolar to premolar. Activation of a labial bow will cause closure of space distal to canine. It is used for guidance of canine during retraction, and it is also used for retention at the termination of active mechanotherapy. Coming to design of a long labial bow. A design of a long labial bow is similar to a short labial bow except that the bow extends from left first premolar to right first premolar. Thus, a greater length of wire is used, which allows greater anterior retraction as compared to short label bow. The activation is similar to the activation of a short label bow. It is activated by compressing the U-loop by 1 to 2 mm. Split label bow, it is a modification of a short label bow. In this, the label bow is split in the midline. This results in two separate buccal arms having a U-loop each. This increases the flexibility of the label bow. In spite of this, it is not routinely used because it lacks rigidity and stability, and also the free ends may cause soft tissue injury. Modified split bow. It is a modification of a split label bow. In this, the free ends of the buccal arm of the label bow are made to hook on to the distal surface of opposite. Makes sense now. Keep the sentence. Modified split bow. It is a modification of a split label bow. In this, the free ends of the buccal arms of the label bow are made to hook on to the distal surface of the central incisor on the opposite side. As you can see in this picture, it is used for closure of midline diastema. The disadvantage of modified split bow is, as it closes the midline diastema, spaces are formed distal to the central incisor. The indications for the split label bow are, it is used for anterior retraction, whereas the modified split label bow can also be used for closure of midline diastema. Mills retractor. It is a complexly designed label bow. The bow has an extensive looping of the wire designed to increase the flexibility and range of action. It is also known as extensive label bow. It is indicated in patients with large overjet. The drawbacks are difficulty in fabrication and poor patient compliance due to its complex design. Reverse label bow. It is so called because it is activated by opening the U-loop instead of compressing it as seen in other conventional label bows. The U-loops are placed distal to the canine, and the free ends of the U-loop are adapted occlusally between the first premolar and canine. The indications are similar to that of a short label bow, that is, it is used for the overjet reduction and also for space closure in the anterior segment. Activation is done by opening the loops of the reverse label bow, but this causes lowering of the label bow in the incisor region. So a compensatory bend is given at the base of the loop to maintain the proper level of the bow. Roberts retractor. It has two helices instead of a U-loop in the design. It is fabricated from a thin gauge stainless steel wire of 0.5 mm smaller diameter wire. The incorporation of the helices renders the bow highly flexible and thus can bring about greater anterior retraction. Since the retractor is highly flexible, to provide stability to the retractor, the distal part of the retractor is supported by a stainless steel tubing of 0.5 mm internal diameter. The advantages are, the bow is highly flexible, can thus bring about greater anterior retraction, whereas the disadvantage is, it lacks adequacy and needs support in the vertical. High label bow with apron springs. This kind of label bow extends high into the buccal vestibule. It is made up of thicker gauge of stainless steel wire, that is 0.9 to 1 mm. It acts as a support to which an apron spring made of 0.4 mm wires are attached. It is used for retraction of one or more teeth. It is used in case of a large overjet. Here is an example where there is an increased overjet of one teeth, which was corrected by using a high label bow with apron springs. The activation is done by bending the apron spring towards the teeth. The disadvantages are, it is difficult to construct and there is a risk of soft tissue injury. Fitted label bow. It is so called because it is adapted to conform to the contours of the label surface. It is used for retention after completion of fixed orthodontic therapy.